Hi everybody. I finally got a chance to play D&D with friends. Huzzah! And the group that I played with was nice enough to allow me to show our D&D session on this channel. So we took little breaks at 2 points. So you'll see a couple little intermissions, but enjoy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Xander Jeanneret, and I'm going to be your dungeon master tonight. Welcome to Humblewood. This is a very special campaign setting from the Deck of Many, and we've got some great animated spell cards to use, specifically from the Humblewood world. But I would love to introduce you to some of our players, starting over here with someone you might know. Erica, why don't you go ahead?
Hi, thank you so much, Xander. I'm Erica Ishii, and I am playing Cherry, who is a cleric. She is a Luma, a dove, and she's bright and bubbly, and gonna shoot her shot here today.
Yeah.
And now it's me. Hey, everybody. I'm Luis Carrazzo, and I'm playing Harrison. Harrison is a Vulpin who looks like a fox, and he's got like he's really good-natured, good heart. He's warm, and he's got a kind of calm and measured way about him.
And I am Whitney Moore. I will be playing Jules the Gerbean, a sort of mouse-ish character. Mm-hmm. I am a sorcerer, and I was homeschooled. I am not a people person or an animal's animal.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Trisha Hershberger, and today I am playing Coco, a kindled corvum who looks a little bit like a crow, I guess you could say. Definitely of bird stature. And Coco is very excitable about precious objects. She also relies very heavily on her intellect and her ability to remember things.
Yes. Amazing. And these are all, like they had said, animal characters. The world of Humblewood takes place in this magical place called The Wood, where all of the characters are some sort of animal variant. We already see this in Dungeons & Dragons with like the Tabaxi, and there are some Tabaxi that are going to make some appearances. But like they mentioned, the races here have totally different names and different variations within them as well. So I'm very excited to get started. And these characters are going to be playing with the animated spells deck, and we've got some of them here. And you can see how incredible some of these animations are.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's a box, it's a chest. It's a box, it's a chest. That's an illusion.
So cool. All right, I'm excited to get started. So, we are zooming into the wood. We're going deep into the magical backstory. Magic in nature is, as you would expect, naturally occurring. The flowers bloom with energy. The animals come alive when they consume the plants. And they can use that energy. They can shape it and force it into something beautiful. The Avium is the large magical academy of the wood. And while it is tough to get in, it pretty much takes anyone that comes along with magical aptitude. I mean, it's worth being honed. But if you're a specialist, if you were chosen, you might be able to join the Ancient Royal Oak Magical Academy, or AROMA for short. The four of you have been scouted. You've been living in your various places, whether it be at home, being schooled, in a temple with monks, or in your small town. Wherever you came from, you were visited by a Vulpin who was large in stature, very long, and this is a fox-type person, and he has long ears that are pink on the inside, but he is a dark gray-blue color. He's got bushy white eyebrows and sort of mutton chops that are white as well that jut out. He looks very proper. He's got gold-plated armor that is encloaked in a dark blue cloak, and he has spotted all of you at various points in your career. You've seen him. And now you've been invited to come here, and you see him again. You gather in this small town. It's made out of the tree. It's as if someone coaxed the tree to take the shape of a hut or a building or even a fountain. And the tree said, okay, this part can be a fountain. As you look around, it seamlessly merges with nature. And it's a sight to behold. Coming forward, you see that there are other groups of potential candidates for Aroma. You know that your professor, Professor Baldwin, this Vulpin, is loud and boisterous. And he sort of stands out in a crowd. You hear this overall. Yes, come here, he bellows to all four of you.
Here, ready to go.
Coco makes her way through the crowd. It seems like she's very excited. Does she kind of push her way through, or does she make her way sort of finding a path?
I keep my arms very close to my sides and just kind of, shoulder my way through. I don't want to push anybody because that might be perceived as rude. I'm just very excited, and I feel like I can probably do the most good when I can hear the professor the best, maybe at the front of the group.
Unfortunately, as you're moving forward, you do sort of bump into someone. The small Gerbine. Jules, you feel a sudden jerk on the back of your shoulder, and this Corvum has sort of bumped into you, but seems like it wasn't on purpose.
I cast Gust Barrier.
Whoa! Coco, as soon as you sort of come close to coming in contact with Jules, you're blown back a little bit by this sort of puff of gust. It's strange. You know that there was a spell that happened, but it was fast and natural. The two of you
don't want to be touched.
The two of you have created sort of a crowd.
I'm so sorry. That was not my intention. I just wanted to hear Professor Baldwin a little bit better.
I know your type. I know you're like a real popular girl, huh? Well, guess what? All right, You're gonna guess what? Well, while you were doing popular girl stuff, I was busy studying the blade, the blade of magic, and it doesn't. I'm gonna hang back because you go ahead.
Do you mind if I take a look at that blade? That looks really interesting. I don't think I've seen one like it before.
Yeah, you can see it.
And I want to quickly appraise it.
Yes, please.
Appraisal skill.
Go ahead. And I'll go ahead and roll with advantage, because this is what Coco is good at.
Okay. 19.
Amazing. So you, with your expert eye, you can see that while in its local area, this might seem like a very valuable blade, it's something that a kid might carry, or it's not really a weapon. It's a bit toyish.
It's super special limited edition, and please don't break it because it's very special to me. My father gave it to me.
This must be a very treasured possession to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing
I sheath my blade.
It's at this moment, Cherry, that you could hear this conversation happening. You know that you're going to be paired with some people, and you don't know who, but you know that Professor Baldwin had beckoned you over, and these two are sort of causing a scene.
Oh, hey, I think he called us over, Professor Baldwin. I'm sorry, I'm Cherry. I am applying for the academy, and it looks like you guys are doing that too, huh?
Yeah, you better not get me in trouble. I studied really hard for this and really intensely. Okay?
That sounds really hardcore. Good for you.
Thank you. I am very hardcore.
Wow.
I'm very excited to learn new skills.
And at that moment, Harrison, you arrive, and you see this trio sort of happily conversing. You're not quite sure why there was a crowd that was sort of formed around them, but it seems to be dispersing now.
Huh. I walk right past them and head straight to the professor, barely even like looking around, just beelining, and I stand right in front of him, and I'm just at attention, quiet, waiting.
Ah, yes.
Whatever comes out of his mouth.
Harrison, it is a great pleasure to see you again. His bushy sort of, what are they called? Side chops, mutton chops, sort of flap with his speech.
Yes, thank you, Professor. I'm really glad to be here.
I trust that you not only have honed that skill, and he looks down at the blade that you have, but also your mind.
I am trying my best.
Well, I have high hopes for all of you, and he addresses all four of you.
Hey,
Looking
who's that
around,
guy?
I don't know, but it looks like we found the teacher's pet.
Looks really strong.
Looking
Harrison?
around, you can see there are other students that are gathered around other professors. One thing that all of you notice is that your group of four only has one Professor Baldwin. The other two groups have two professors assigned to them. And Coco, what were you going to say?
Oh, just asking who teacher's pet was.
It might be Harrison. Professor Baldwin sort of clears his throat and stands up on this podium that has been erected, and the other professors, you can tell, sort of take their places as well. Welcome, everybody. Please, quiet down now. And you see the crowd sort of hushes. I'm honored to welcome you all here to the Honorable Ancient Royal Oak Magical Academy Aptitude Test. Thank you for joining us. You have been selected from all corners of the wood. You have a natural ability for magic. Nature magic pours from you, even without you intending it. He gives a look over to you, Jules. You, however, should not be too afraid. This trial will not be lethal, but if you find yourself incapacitated in some capacity, you will have to be removed at the end of the trial. For you see, we are giving you entrance into the Dread Wilds. And there's sort of like this hush over the crowd, and people don't really know what that is.
Wow!
I look over to Harrison and I say, I'm not scared. I'm brave. I'm known as the bravest person at my school, actually. I'm very brave from my school.
What is that place? Does anyone know what that place is?
It's from a different meadow. You wouldn't know where it is.
No, if I had seen it, I would remember it, and I don't remember it. I don't know it.
Shh. I don't want to talk about it right now. What did the teacher say?
The professors all seem to sort of motion. You can see there's a giant raptor professor that is sort of clothed in green cloth that's wrapped around. He's got a huge staff, and he's moving in this fluid motion, along with another professor that's a servant, who is a deer-like creature. He's got a snout that comes out. It's a little bit pronounced, and long blonde, like Legolas hair, but tiny little antlers that flow behind its ears, and a long green coat. They're moving in sync in front of the students that are before them. And as they do, this green energy sort of circles up and creates an orb above them. Above another group, Professor Tabaxi, who is sort of fluffy up on the top and small and contained in this like leather catsuit, along with a big fluffy white tail at the back, and she's wielding two scimitars, and she seems to be dancing with the blades as she's spinning them around alongside a Gerbine, who looks spunky, to say the least. She's got sort of ragtag clothes, and her hair is all over the place, and she's moving wildly. She's got knee pads and arm pads, and the two of them are creating this blue orb of energy. And of course, Professor Baldwin is looking at you, and his movements are dignified. And he swirls around, and a red orb appears over the four of you. These three orbs come together and form a portal in the middle of the gathering. Now, all of you shall head through this portal into the Dread Wilds. He pauses for dramatic effect.
Hell yeah!
Attacking and casting against the other teams is allowed. Now, if you don't mind, he puffs out this powder that sort of glimmers in the air, and it spreads out even further than the four of you, covering all of the candidates. And you all look down to see this sort of gossamer, shimmering barrier that's placed on you. And he says, "This will keep you from being permanently killed, but should you become less than healthy, you should pass out, and we will recall you at the end of the trial, obviously in complete failure." Yes, Harrison.
Professor, does that mean that if that were to happen, does that mean that we've failed?
Well, I suppose that's if you complete the mission or not. Your mission is to retrieve the shell of a flail snail. Whichever team brings back the shell will win admission for all four of its team's members.
Do I know what that is?
Hey, Birdie, do you know what that is?
So why don't anybody who's wondering make a knowledge nature check.
All right.
Or survival, whichever one is, I guess, higher.
Oh man, 25.
Whoa!
Dang,
Whoa!
You know everything.
Yeah.
Dang.
17.
That's that sharp mind, baby.
Yeah. Okay, so Jules and Cherry, you know sort of the basics of it. You know that this is a magical monster of some kind. They're pretty much evil. They attack everything. And they sort of have these clubs that jet out. They're like a giant snail that have these clubs that sort of hit. And let's see. Harrison, you know that there are magical properties to flail snails, that both their shell and they themselves have magical abilities. And Coco, you know that the shell specifically is used as anti-magic. So you can use it as an ingredient to create anti-magic spells or potions or things like that.
Does it ward against magical spells then?
It can, if it's prepared correctly. It can also be crushed and used for a fantastical robe as well, but, you know, whichever. Huh. So that various level of knowledge comes flooding into you as you hear the words, flail snail.
Oh, when you crush up their shells, they make fabulous robes. You can sell them for a fine price.
Yes, I would appreciate you, Coco, to know the value of an item. And he looks around and notices that the other teams, some of them have already started to filter into the portal.
Let's do it!
Are we supposed to go in there? The four of us, huh? So it's the four of us. So you guys are my new...
Yeah, hey, buddy! And Cherry slaps him on the back.
Hey,
I'm Cherry!
Hi, Cherry. I'm Harrison, I guess. And you are... And I point to the dove.
Oh, the dove. That's Cherry.
That's Cherry. The dove is Cherry. And I point to the crow, the crow-looking...
My name is Coco. I assume we're all here for the same reason, which is to get into Aroma, and I think
right,
some
yes.
of the other teams have already started to go, so we should probably get the introductions moving a little faster.
Oh, right, yes.
Go in through the portal.
I'll lead the way. I jump right through.
Oh.
My name's Jules.
So
New friends, come.
Harrison leaps in through the portal. Jules and Coco, can you make a perception check for me, please?
Mm-hmm.
And then, Cherry, what are you doing? Harrison's just leapt into the portal. You've sort of had this bonding moment, but are you moving forward, or are you going to wait for a bit?
Oh, man. Well, what is everybody else doing? Do we get to bring anything with us?
It doesn't seem like it.
Do we can bring anything with us? What's going to happen? Where's that? Are we going to the Dreadwood?
Young Cherry, I knew the minute that I saw you that you would be excited. You must be prepared at all times, and so whatever you have on you is what you must face the trial with.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. That sounds good. Cool. So you guys, let's head on in.
Could I have the results of the perception checks real quick?
I got a 10.
Okay.
Crit fail.
Okay.
Oh.
So yeah, you guys go ahead. If you would like to, you can move on in.
Cherry like hops about, like takes a running leap.
Woo!
I'm gonna look at the portal and
Nice. And Jules, it seems like you're the last one there, but out of the corner of your eye, you could have sworn you saw something else jump into the portal too. It wasn't a full team, but maybe it was another person or one of the professors. You weren't quite sure.
Oh, okay. I put one toe in, and then another toe.
You feel sucked in, like from your
Oh
navel.
God! Oh God! Oh God! Okay! Oh God! Okay. Oh.
And all four of you are spat out in this glade. And you can see that it's sort of magical. It vibrates with this energy. The grass is a shade of purple as well as blue and green. And the trees, they sort of enclose the area. It's small and it's cramped, but you seem like you're in this vast forest. As you move forward, you can see that it does sort of clear out, and the trees come up to form some sort of face. The twisted knots seem to have this mouth that looks open and sort of screaming, with its eyes that are sort of at the back of its head. And it's at like chest height or so, like a stump type of thing, and it's facing the sky. That's what you see in a clearing as you sort of move in.
Oh.
like quite a stunning place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, what took you guys so long? I was out here. It felt like forever. I felt like you left me.
Does time move different in here? Maybe time moves different on this side of the portal or something.
Oh, okay.
I saw something else go into the portal.
What?
I don't know what it was, but I think I saw something else go into the portal. So like, be careful, okay?
Was it a big something else? A small something else? Was it?
I don't know. It was like a leg or something. I don't know. It feels like we're not alone.
Okay, are you sure maybe you weren't just frightened?
Well, I can
I'm
check.
not frightened. I'm very brave.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Harrison takes a deep breath and closes his eyes and tries to concentrate on the area around him to see if I can hear anything around us besides those of us that are in our little group.
That's so cool.
Would you like to use anything but a perception check, or I'll give you advantage on that if you'd like?
Just a perception check.
Yeah.
No.
I'll give you advantage though because this is your element.
My favored terrain.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 3 and an 18, so I'll take the 18.
I would suggest that.
And that makes that a 20 total.
Okay, so Harrison, you are able to sort of tune everything out and really dial into whatever this place is. It seems like it's a forest, but you can feel that it's a construct. This is magic, and magic is everywhere in here. Everything seems sort of out of the ordinary. It's like, this is a leaf, but I know that it's not real. So it's easy to determine you are real. The team that you came here with are real. And there is something else. There is another presence or person in here that you can feel that is real. It's small, though. It seems like another team member type.
Oh. I think that you're right, there is another presence here. I feel it.
Yes.
And it seems benevolent. So I think we're okay to move forward.
Cool.
Very astute observation and deduction. Well done, team.
Wow.
Where do we find a slug snail thing?
That's a great question.
I'm feeling
Xander, do I know anything about where they live or what their normal habitat is?
Why don't you make a survival check for me? It's a little bit far-fetched because they're like a magical creature, but we'll see. Oh, or not.
Nat 20.
So you know what? So, you know that their natural habitat is coastal. It should be by some body of water of some kind, but your senses are going off too, because you're very attuned to nature and being a druid, you can sense these things as well. You know that even though their natural habitat might be that, there's no rules in this environment. This is like a weird warped dimension. But looking for a source of water might be a place to start.
Well, I know that they normally live close to beaches or large bodies of water, but I don't know that the same rules will apply in this new strange place that we're in right now. But maybe it's an okay place to start, if everyone else agrees, I mean.
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
Hey, unless anybody else has any ideas, I know how to. I'm gonna take a little look see around. Okay. I can't really fly. I don't know. Can you fly? You fly, Coco? I can't fly, but I can go. Take a look around. What was it? Yes, Harrison.
So, Coco, the shell that we're looking for, the snail that we're looking for, what kind of a creature is that? Is it from another plane? Is it? I'm trying to remember my studies, and I'm not quite sure. I recall because Harrison closes his eyes, and his voice just kind of drops in and gets really calm. Because I can sense in the wind, if you help direct me towards this creature, I can find it. And I'm using primeval awareness to try to locate, see if I can locate any celestial or aberration or any kind of creature within 6 miles, since if we are in my favorite terrain,
which we are,
then I'm trying to just have a sense of it, like a ping.
Yeah.
To
so
kind of guide us.
Again, Harrison sort of closes his eyes, and at this point, this is his natural state.
And so, like, every time this happens, there's like a good solid minute of him like sitting there, and Cherry kind of like waves a hand, and she's like, "Hey, bud, you." Oh, he's doing a thing. This is really cool. Jules, isn't he cool?
Yeah, he seems different, like me. I don't know. He's probably just a jump jock, though. He looks like he does sports.
Oh, well,
I think we're all different in our own way.
Surprisingly, Harrison,
not me. I'm the most different.
Right. None of this gets to you as you're in your mind palace, and as you put out your awareness, you can tell that there's something weird besides just the way that it looks about this stump tree thing in the center of the clearing. It's giving off this sort of celestial glow that you would think. There seem to be other pings further deep in the forest, but this is the sort of thing that's radiating out the most.
There. He opens his eyes, and all of a sudden, like, laser focus, points at the stump and says, "That's where we need to go right now." And just with, like, calm conviction starts to step forward.
As Harrison steps forward, there's a twisting that happens with this tree. It sort of turns with its roots still in the ground a little bit towards you. And from the ground, there's this sort of bubbling that comes up as if a swamp were forming, but it's small. It's a little patch. And a clear jug comes up from the ground full of some pink liquid. It's a pale pastel pink. And the ground seems to solidify under it again. And Harrison, it seems to be at your feet, this jug.
This jug?
This vial.
I wait for my companions to come.
So all of this has been going on. Cherry, you had mentioned that you were going to sort of take a look from above.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to use elevated sight.
Yeah. Ooh, let's see that animation.
That's so cool.
Yes. So this is a divination, and this is actually Cherry's special ability. She was born with this, so it doesn't count towards your spell slots. And this, as we were watching Harrison sort of enter this state, if anyone were to look at Cherry at the moment, her eyes start to glow.
I say, wait, everybody, look at this. Watch me. Everybody look at me. Cool. Okay, cool. And then, like, her eyes glaze over.
Yeah. And it's a bright, shining light. And then, can you describe the rest of the spell for me? How does this appear?
Her eyes sort of glaze over and they start glowing big, and she opens her mouth, and there's like song, like not like she's singing, but there's just song.
Like, yeah, like a choir.
Choirs inside her mouth. And a giant eye appears in the sky, and it starts looking around.
Yeah, and from this
120 feet up in the air.
From this eye, Cherry, you can get a vertical view of where you are in this forest. And you can see that it's from way high up. It's like, did you ever play Mario Galaxy? Like the planets in there, they're smaller and you can kind of see the curvature. That's what this sort of forest is like. You can see the curvature of how small this sort of pocket dimension is from that high up.
Okay. And are there any, do I see any things, or are there people, or beaches?
As far as you can tell, the canopy of the forest is pretty thick. So it sort of covers everything around it, but there is a lake that is formed like further down south of you. That seems to be the largest body of water that you can see from above.
Cool.
And you can switch from your consciousness up in that eyeball or in the body down below.
Oh, wow. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I take a look around up there, and I can't move around. I can't move around in it, right?
Right.
Just
there. You're stationary.
All right.
Oh, wait, you can move. Sorry, the sensor moves with you, retaining its height in relation to you.
Oh.
You're just blind when you're the character on the ground if you're looking through that eye. You can only look through one camera as it is.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to leave it up there. So she's like, okay, cool. And then like her eyes close and her mouth shuts, and it's like,
yeah.
So there's like a lake about 20 clicks over that way and everything. That looks pretty cool, right?
But it was terrifying and amazing, and please show me how to do it.
Oh man, I wonder if I can. I think it's like a family thing, you know. I come from a long line of clerics. You know, my mom and her mom's mom. You know what they say about clerics' kids.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to go that way towards the lake, and where did Harrison want to go? Also, should we? Split the difference. Is it?
Over here, guys. Over here. Look.
Yeah.
Look what this is.
So, Jules, as you're pointing that out, Harrison is in front of this tree and jug. It seems to be the opposite direction of where Cherry was pointing towards the lake. But at this point, you just popped into existence. So forward or backward don't really have that much of a meaning.
Harrison, what is that?
I pick up the jug and I show it to them.
Are you sneaking drugs into the school? You have to tell me, because my dad's a cop.
As soon as you touch it, though, Harrison, actually, you feel this weird compulsion. Your hands, your tiny fox hands, lock onto the jug. And you feel slowly, very slowly, compelled to move the liquid up towards your mouth. And everybody else can hear this sort of like drum beat of doom, doom, doom. And as you look, it seems to be emanating from this tree. And as you listen closer, you can see that the mouth is moving. And it's actually saying, chug, chug, chug. And Harrison's slowly moving this liquid.
I don't want to.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I cast magic missile.
Pause. Okay. Coco, go ahead and do a check to see if you've ever seen anything like this before. Cherry, you're casting magic missile at Harrison, the jug, the stump?
On the jug.
On the jug? Great.
Yeah.
I
Jules?
am judging.
Judging. And then...
I would like to use my racial trait appraising eye.
Yes.
Instead of just a regular check.
Mm-hmm.
It says I have an almost supernatural ability to appraise objects. By spending an action examining any object, I can determine any magical properties the item has, how it might be used or activated, as well as a fair estimation of market price.
Yes. Okay. I will get back to you. Cherry, why don't you go ahead and roll for your magic missile?
I don't have to roll to hit. It's just, right?
Right. You're going to roll a d4. amounts of missile damage.
Seven.
7. Great. Okay. So, Harrison, you're slowly lifting up this jug and you hear chug, chug from behind you. Coco, you instantly know that liquid is poison. If Harrison drinks that, he's going to die. Within the test, you know he'll just be incapacitated. So he should not drink that. But you can also tell he's being magically attached to this thing. And you think anything that touches it will also be magically attached to it. You don't know if it will release Harrison or if it's an exchange that way, but you know that that's what's happening. But
Magic, don't drink it.
I can't stop. It's making me do it. I don't want to.
Hey, Jules, your sword.
and then these missiles shoot out of an unexpected source. This tiny dove. Cherry, what do your magic missiles look like?
Oh, they're like little, they're like little hearts. They're little hearts, and the little pointed side is like pointed at it. They're little glowing hearts. And they go, pew!
Yeah, so she has this sort of like feathered wing that shoots out, and these little hearts dart out, and they go towards this vial, but they sort of absorb into it, and it glows with energy. And then it sort of dies down, and Harrison is still bringing it towards his lips. Harrison, you can still move your legs, but your face and your hands, they're doing what you don't want it to do.
Oh no.
This is what addiction does. He doesn't want to drink, but yet he does. I was taught all about this in the DARE program, and I am sad that he's a part of our team, frankly.
I run to Jules with the jug in my hand. Like, get help!
So, Coco.
Running around.
Yeah, okay.
Harrison runs over to Jules with it, and Coco, you come towards it. What were you going to do?
I was going to say, do I have another action? I know I already did an action in this encounter, so I want to double check.
Yeah, we'll say we're not doing initiative for right now, so yes, I think so.
Okay, can I use Entangle to have weeds and vines sprout up from the ground and cover his mouth so that he physically can't pour the potion in his mouth?
That's a great idea, but Harrison, I'm going to have you resist, even though you don't want to resist.
Oh.
It's the magic. But yes, you can. Go ahead and cast Entangle.
Okay, great.
And I believe that's a Dex save?
Yes.
I'm going to do a Dex save, which I'm really good at, and I hope I'm not good at it right now.
And I have to touch, I'm sorry, I don't have to touch. He just has to be within 90 feet.
Yeah, and he definitely is. Oh,
I rolled it. I rolled high.
Oh, okay.
My Dex save is total 22.
Okay, so here's what happens. The spell does go off as intended. These vines shoot up from the ground. Coco, do you want to describe a bit what your entangle looks like?
Yeah, so the vines start to kind of swirl around his feet as they're coming up. They come up around his body, but are not actually entangling his legs or his torso or his arms at all. They only kind of come up from the very back of his neck and start to come around his face. It would look quite terrifying if people didn't know that this was in a mode to help, but to come across his mouth like this and just hold on tight so that he can still breathe, but so that no liquid could get through the fingers.
And that is the intention. And Jules and Cherry, you can see that Coco is intensely concentrating on this spell. You can see the vines weaving around, but they just don't quite cover the mouth. It's almost everything but the mouth. And it does seem to provide some sort of barrier as this jug is coming closer and closer. But who knows how much protection it's going to offer.
Can I... Okay, I have a GM question. Can I run up and can I grab and embrace Harrison? Not because I want to, but so I can cast Gust Barrier ghost barrier, and then it gets knocked away, please.
So you're using Jules's natural ability of gust barrier, and Jules rushes forward and swiftly dodges these entangling vines that are sort of coming up, and wraps around Harrison. And
I'm not hugging you because I want to.
Gets out that line before there's a explosion of wind, and the jug seems to go flying up, but Harrison goes with it out of the entangled vines up into the air, and then you all watch as he sort of tips down and starts falling with the jug first. As it's reaching the ground, you can see this liquid is falling out of it into this mouth that is still going chug, chug, and as some of the liquid gets in, it's like chug, chug, and shrivels up and fades back into the ground. As you crash back down, Harrison, you actually take 6 points of damage from the fall, but the jug is shattered, and you no longer feel compelled to bring this liquid to your mouth.
It's okay. You're better than that. You don't need drugs and alcohol to be cool. Okay.
I wasn't. I'm not trying to.
That was rad! Jules, you totally saved him!
Oh.
I did?
Yeah, you just climbed up the rank in the badass in the group. Okay, so we got teacher's pet, we got badass, we got Coco, you're the smart one, I think. You're the smart one.
I'm really nervous. I'm the nervous one right now, but that could have been incredibly dangerous. I mean, that was one of the most potent poisons I've ever seen in my entire existence and my entire time as a merchant before I even came here, and you almost drank it, and that was terrifying.
And Coco, it's uncharacteristic, but something catches you, and you stop mid-sentence, in that the space where this was starts to glow green, and then this little, leaf symbol pops up, disappears, and a path lights up green behind you. It streaks off into the forest.
Anyone else see this?
We all see it, yes?
You all do.
Do you think perhaps we've passed some sort of trial, maybe, and the forest is showing us the way?
Heck yeah.
I think we
Step
should
one,
go.
down.
And I quickly go down on one knee to Jules, and I bow and I say, I am in your debt. You saved me from my sole purpose of being here. That would have taken me out of this competition and this test, and I am indebted to you.
Please get up. Please do not put. Let's keep going. Please. Do you guys want to come here and you can go on the path? Let's go on the path. Let's go on the path.
Let's go on the path. And I jump up and spring forward.
With renewed vigor, the four of you head down this path into this magical forest. Who knows what could await you in the next trial? All right, when we last left our fabulous foursome, they had just maybe accidentally solved a magical puzzle that is now pointing them in the right direction. As they head off into this forest, Cherry, you said you still have your elevated sight on. Are you looking through that as you're walking forward, or is your sight down in your physical body?
Normally, so I'm hopping along, and I'll be like, and then the thing will activate.
Just randomly summoning a choir of angels in the corner. So as you sort of pop up into your elevated sight, you can see that it's strange, but the planet that you're on, this little pocket dimension, seems to be rotating as you're moving. And as it's rotating, you can see these trees are sort of melting in on themselves. It's gradual, but it's as you're moving forward, it sort of seems to change terrain around you.
All right, and I relay this to everybody. Man, teachers are really messing with our heads. Amazing.
Really, really neat.
What do you guys want to get into the academy for?
I'm sorry?
What do you want to get into the academy for? Coco, you seem like you have a pretty good deal going with your stuff, your brains.
Well, I mean, I can remember a lot of things, but I only remember things that I've seen or learned before. And this world is a very large place, and there's so much more to learn and to remember and to see. And I just would really, really love to know even more.
Yeah.
My body is a weapon, and so is my mind. And I just want to become the ultimate weapon, I guess, and I want to catch the bad guys like my dad does, because he's a cop.
Oh, where's your father a cop?
You wouldn't have heard about it.
Oh, okay.
Jules, can you make a perception check for me, please?
Yes.
And my dad works in Humblewood, so you probably haven't heard of it.
Perception. 21.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to pause real quick. There it is. I think I know what the noise was. So, Jules, as you make this perception check, you're sort of boisterously saying, my body is a weapon, my mind is a weapon, and just out of the corner of your eye, you catch it again. This glimpse of something moving in the foliage, and you thought you saw a flick of a tail, a gerbine tail.
Okay, I definitely saw something just now. Okay, I said my mind is a weapon, and that means that I can see things. I can pick up on them. Okay, I pick up on things that like normal eyes wouldn't. And I just saw a gerbine tail. I just saw a gerbine tail.
What kind of weapon has elevated sight? Harrison, you know of any?
I don't. I kind of do that sort of calming, tuning thing out again. I want to sense to see if I hear stuff around us, not just in the direction that was pointed out to us. Because something about the hair on the back of my neck is starting to like kind of stand up.
Do you think the teachers would spy on us?
Oh yeah, I mean, like they got to see if we pass or not, right? And make sure we're not cheating.
Wait, remember?
I hope it was that cool-looking gerbine.
Shh. We're not out here by ourselves, and part of the test is us against other students. Remember?
Oh. They did say that. You're right. It's not just going to be intellectual and physical trials.
Yeah.
I pull out my sword,
Mm-hmm.
and I start to look around and back up to see if I get a sense of any movement that's happening around us. I want to see if I can pinpoint other bodies, other folk around us.
Yeah, why don't you make a perception check with advantage for me?
Yes, sir. Natty 20.
All right. There is definitely a gerbine hiding just around one of these trees. It's sort of, you're not quite sure sort of what they're wearing, but they're definitely behind one of the trees and sort of waiting to see what you're doing. You've noticed, but they haven't they're watching you, but they don't know that you know.
Hey, come on up. Team Cheju Koha is gonna get you if you don't come out right now. I thought of a team name for us. I hope that's okay.
That's okay. I like it. I turn and face away from them, and I face my companions, and I kind of point the direction of where I noticed. Right,
so you see Harrison do that sort of like...
And I walk around the team, and I cast ambush prey.
Yes, this is Harrison's natural ability. Can you describe ambush prey for me with your deck of many animated spell card?
Yes, absolutely. So I start to walk around the trio.
Wait, before he does that, as he goes by, I'm like, oh, and I touch his weapon and I cast magic weapon.
Nice. Ooh. Oh, so are you're imbuing the weapon with magic?
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. So I take that, and so I start to
touch it, and little sparks fly off and go.
Nice. Oh, and then as that happens, I start to run around them, and it's almost as if there's sparks coming out of my weapon, and the leaves on the ground start to kick up and whirl around, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So this fabulous display happens, and Harrison is gone. Coco, you're left looking at the space that he pointed out. You have a quick action if you'd like.
Like where it is?
Mm-hmm. You can see the tree, and you can that's been pointed out. You can sort of see this shadow rummaging around behind it.
Okay, our special abilities we can use as many times as we want.
Yes.
Oh well, then heck yeah, I'm gonna Veil of Dusk it, baby.
Nice.
Which is my
It's such
special
a cool.
ability.
Yeah. I love the animation on this too. It's so good.
Yeah. And I know Harrison is already not able to be seen, and so I'd like to make the target of this myself.
Nice.
And cloak myself in a shadowy veil of darkness and silence. So
Sure.
I'll get a +1 to AC and advantage to stealth checks. Thank you, Veil of Dusk spell card, for not only looking cool but being very helpful too.
Do you position yourself somewhere while taking invisibility?
And I'm sure I know which tree it's behind.
The tree that Harrison pointed at is there.
Okay, then I would like to hide in some shrubbery in the nearby tree, but being very quiet.
Great. So Harrison has pointed out this shadow in the corner and then swiftly gone through this motion, getting this spark of magic from Cherry and then disappearing in a flourish of leaves as these feathers sort of surround Coco in this veil of darkness, and she vanishes from sight. Jules, you're left with Cherry, but very much with your eyes on this gerbine.
Okay, I'm gonna try to sneak. Cherry, I know that you like to talk. I know that you like to talk loud, but can you talk quiet for a minute?
Oh, I'm gonna do my very best. Just for you.
Okay. I'm gonna try to sneak into the bushes because gerbines are like real sneaky, and so I'm gonna try and I'm gonna take out my sword.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, you can come if you want.
Can I come with you? This seems like there's gonna be some badassery afoot.
Yeah, I am the team's badass, so I guess I have the authority to say that.
Cool, great.
Okay.
I'll just follow your lead then.
Okay. We sneak.
Yeah. I'm gonna sneak too.
So as the two of you have this conversation and sort of like resolve to start sneaking, you turn over and the gerbine is gone. And you start like sort of moving in that direction very quietly. Why don't the two of you make stealth checks for me?
20.
Oh,
Dang.
Sneak.
11? All right. So as you're going by, Jules is as quiet as a mouse, one might say.
It's a gerbine, okay?
It's a gerbine. But she's expert at this. She's expert at sneaking around at home, trying not to get caught. Cherry, on the other hand...
have you ever seen those videos of the birds running in slow motion down the hall? So she sat and her feet are just like flapping.
I think there was a miscommunication between the two of you as Jules is getting ready for a planned sneak attack and Cherry just kind of flails in, wings ablazing. As she does, you hear this scream come out. Ah! And you look down and you see this gerbine looks terrified of Cherry. She is down on the ground, cowering. She has huge ears that are poking out of this sort of headscarf that wraps around the front of her terrified mouth and face. She's holding a tiny book that seems to be bejeweled and a tiny little toothpick of a wooden sword. And she's just like, "Don't come any closer!" To you, Cherry.
State your cause. State your cause or else my bird friend's gonna kill you.
Yeah, I'll kill you. I'll kill you until you're dead.
He's gonna get you.
She is scared silly. She's sort of shaking with the book. My name is Daphne, and I was just here because I love magic so much. I thought that I could be a part of the academy, but I don't think I'm ready for it, and I didn't get put on a team, and I followed you in here, and now I'm lost. She
Oh,
probably.
I let go of the I feel terrible.
Harrison comes out of hiding, and she just looks even more afraid at seeing him come out of nowhere. And she's like, "I didn't see you!" And she scrambles around a little bit.
Wait! No, we thought you were coming after us. You were there, and you came in with us, so you heard what they told us were going to be the trials, right? The dangers and everything.
Yeah, I know. I thought magic would protect me.
How do we know you're telling the truth? Just because you're cute, we're not like rivals and stuff?
Don't hurt me, please.
Okay, either this is part of the test and we need to act accordingly and you're working on the inside, or this is from a rival team. We gotta, because if she's on the other team, then she's got a protection on her. So like, either we need to decide real quick if we're gonna or if we're gonna protect.
So about that, I may be here a little against the rules, and so I don't know if I'm completely protected.
Oh no!
That's what I'm
That's
really
right,
scared.
because we have the shimmering stuff on our skin is what's going to make sure that we stay protected when we.
I didn't get any of that.
Oh no!
Okay,
I'm gonna step out of my veil of darkness.
Wow! I didn't see you either.
let's go.
Sorry. May I request a team huddle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on, lady, if that is your real name.
Daphne.
Thank you, Daphne.
All right, we all huddle around.
We all huddle up.
She folds her large ears down like she's trying not to listen.
Do we believe this tiny creature?
I feel like this has got to be part of the test, and we need to see if we're good protectors, right?
I've got something.
Yeah.
I'm going to use Zone of Truth.
Get back in the huddle!
One of
Get
my
back in the huddle!
spells. No, trust me. Okay, go back in the huddle. And I was like, listen. So I close my eyes. That calm energy comes again, and these leaves start to kind of come around us. And a leaf passes over my mouth, and then breaks in two and passes over my ears.
Whoa.
This will allow us to speak the truth and hear nothing but the truth. And then it just like a small whirlwind emerges from the center of us, and then the leaves just kind of scatter out.
Dang.
So cool.
That's cool.
And that's the truth. It is cool.
It is
So this is Zone of Truth.
Yes.
And so I ask whatever you want to know, and they will be compelled to tell us exactly the truth.
As the spell is cast, it does seem to sort of affect Daphne. She does have her giant ears covering, but she's looking at Harrison, and she sees this go off, and this beam sort of hits her, and she lets go of her ears and like unfurl again, and she just has this sort of slack look, and she says, "I just love magic so much." And you can ask her anything you'd like.
Is your name really Daphne?
My name is Daphne.
Did you really sneak into the test?
I did.
Are
you
a member
part of the
another
test?
team?
I am on nobody's team. I guess I'm as much a part of the test as you are.
Huh.
But like none of the professors sent you though.
None of the professors know I'm here.
Oh man.
You're in trouble then. You're not protected, and there's dangerous things here.
I think it's worth it. And she
Did
covers
you
her
ever-
mouth.
So, from a purely logical standpoint, teammates, if we are to allow this Daphne, yes, if we are to allow this Daphne to help us, that might be perceived as cheating, since we're just supposed to be a team of 4, not a team of 5. So, but on the other hand, is this some sort of moral test?
She doesn't have to help us. We just have to help.
I don't know.
We just have to help her. We can't leave her alone like this.
Then we take her with us, and we make sure that she's safe, but she can't help us at all.
Right. She can't help us at all. It would be cheating. My initial thought was, could we perhaps maybe use this to our advantage and send Daphne out to spy on other teams for us? But that would probably also be perceived as cheating, so we shouldn't do that.
And then that's very dangerous. I don't know if she'll be able to withstand whatever else is out there.
All right.
Good
Okay.
point.
So Cherry drops out of the huddle and goes, "Okay, Daphne. So here's the deal. You're on the team.
And her eyes light up.
We're gonna protect you, okay? So don't you worry about it. But you're not supposed to help us. Otherwise, that might be perceived as cheating."
Okay, but what if you're dying?
Don't help us, Daphne. And look, we can take care of ourselves. We are professional students, okay? We got into the test. And with that, I shoot a fireball. Look at this, Daphne.
Wait, what? Can you move it closer to your face a little bit?
I do a firebolt.
Yeah.
Wow.
At Daphne.
say,
Oh, you
hey,
just do it out.
No, not at Daphne. I just say, hey, check this out. Just to show how apt we are at magic. We don't need anybody's help.
As Jules sort of strikes this monk-like pose and puts a fist out in this shoot of flame, takes to the sky, you can see the reflection in in Daphne's eyes, because they're just this inky black of wonder as they see this magic shoot into the sky. She is thoroughly impressed by all of you and is sort of clinging right by you, Jules.
Well, stick with us, Daphne. And hey, while we have this spell, Harrison, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done?
Harrison, you feel compelled to tell the truth.
There was a lesson one time, and I refused to take a potty break because I didn't want to miss a lesson, so I just let it all out right there. And then,
We all been there.
Yes.
We all been there.
It's a surprisingly relatable moment from Harrison for everybody.
whew, wow, that's a relief. I've never actually felt good
Relief
about
like that?
I don't know.
That time.
Well, I was relieved. I definitely felt relieved in the moment, but then embarrassed and humiliated because everybody laughed at me. So
You're
Right
all
now,
right,
it's like
buddy. You're
different
all
kind of
right.
relief because you guys are my friends already. I can tell. It's really great.
So
I'm very sorry that happened to
Harrison,
you.
You're an angel. You're an angel.
Oh!
all four of you make a pun perception check.
18.
Ooh,
10.
What? I rolled a 19. I'm rolling good. Yo.
nice.
20. That's a 21 with my.
I don't get it.
Nice. Okay, so Coco and Harrison, you look down and you see that there's still this like green stripe that's running through the forest. And it seems to be sort of ushering down a path of sorts. But as you're looking at it, you both feel and hear another sort of rustling in the bushes. And your senses go off. This isn't another small gerbine. This feels like danger.
This time it's for real, and I pull my sword back out again, and let's get ready. And this time I'm going to do the same thing again, my ambush prey, but I'm going to run right next to Jules, and right as I start to run towards you, and right before you become super uncomfortable because I'm starting to invade your space, poof, I disappear, and those swirling leaves happen again.
Amazing. Yes, Jules, that does happen.
It's a good thing that he didn't touch me, because I hate to be touched, and he doesn't look strong to me at all.
So
Cherry catches Coco's eye and tries to exchange a look.
There's definitely danger here. That's fine. Danger now.
Oh, right.
And then I'm gonna veil of darkness myself again.
Take two.
Yeah. So as these spells are going off, you notice that the landscape around you continues to change. Daphne, terrified, sort of makes her way to the middle of the four of you as you take your positions, and the trees melt away into this red rock that sort of comes up from the ground. And you see there's sort of, it's like Las Vegas, Nevada desert style, where there's these plateaus or Arizona style. It seems very dry and desert-like, and it's quick. It all of a sudden changes from this lush magical forest to this dry deserty area. But the shadow, whatever it was that you couldn't tell, is still hidden behind a clump of rocks. But there's some loose dust that you can tell they're still there. Let's see. Jules, what are you doing?
Where are we? Okay, can I not see my friends?
The two of them you've seen them done this before, but they have vanished again. And
well, I don't have anything like that. Cherry, what should we do? I feel like there's somebody here. I don't know. I'm afraid.
You know what? It's okay to admit that once in a while.
No, I'm like afraid all the time. Like most of the time, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep saying I'm not afraid. But that's cool because, like, you do brave things when it counts the most. It's fine. Let's just stand our ground.
Well, what should we do?
You hear Harrison whisper, although he's you can't see him, but he's been standing there all along. And I say, "Don't worry, guys."
Oh God! I hated that.
Afraid. Don't be afraid. You're not alone. Draw them to us.
Is that my conscience?
Well,
It seems
may
like
be, but I heard it too, so it might be Harrison. 50 shot.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay.
And Cherry puts a wing on Jules. It's like,
don't touch me! I cast it.
Oh yeah, Gus barrier goes off, but it's a smaller one since it was a lighter touch. You're kind of blown off a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's actually a good thing that happened, because as your wing moves out of the way, a firebolt comes streaking through where you just were. The two of you separate, and this red streak comes through and hits one of the rocks behind you. And I need everybody to roll for initiative.
Oh yeah.
My lordy. Oh, goodness.
16.
Awesome.
8.
15 for Cherry.
20 for Harrison.
Great.
Do I still have Sparky Sword?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Amazing. Okay. So that was 16 was Jules, right?
Yeah. That was...
And then 8 was Cherry.
15 for Cherry.
15 was Cherry. 8 was Harrison.
8's
No,
Coco.
20.
I have an 8 written down. Who does it belong to? I'm just kidding. Okay.
Not me. I got a 20.
So, let's see. Harrison, you're up first. So all of this, you've sort of spread out a little bit, but Jules and Cherry are in sort of the same area. Coco is somewhere, you're not sure where, and you've positioned yourself with ambush prey as well. Daphne is right behind Jules, sort of cowering in fear, and whatever attacked just sent the firebolt from behind that rock that you were monitoring before.
So I stayed in position as they scattered, and that firebolt then must have zoomed right past my face.
Yeah.
And
you felt the heat, but you kept your composure.
Mm-hmm. Calm. Do I see them popping out, or is it? Are they moving? Have they done anything else other than just stay behind that rock?
It seems like there was a sort of finger around the rock shooting, so it was a little wild, but the aim was surprisingly accurate.
Ooh. Well, I wait for a moment to see, just see if they pop out and move. But the millisecond that I realize that that's not happening, I spring into action, and gotcha. I pop right out. So and basically lunge at them and attack.
So I'll have you readying your action for when that happens, right? If they come out to attack, you will spring into action.
Yes, I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting for them to go after one of my companions so that I can get a surprise on them.
Copy.
And as soon as that happens, I'm gonna give it to them.
Gotcha.
So
okay, Jules, you're up next.
Can I see anybody?
You couldn't see any person, but you know that they're behind that rock. You know it.
Okay, so I know that they're there and they're in range.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to use True Strike.
Okay.
So I extend my hand and I point a finger at or slightly behind the rock.
Well, I will tell you that, like, you don't have a visual of that target, but you can attack the rock.
Okay.
Yeah. So can you read a bit about True Strike for me?
You extend your hand and point a finger at a target in range. Your magic grants you a brief insight into the target's defenses.
Yeah.
It's rock.
So this rock specifically, though, you're looking at it and you cast True Strike and your eyes start to glow as you're sort of getting this information, and you can see the weak points in this rock as they sort of spider out. You know the exact spot to hit to shatter this whole thing.
Can I attack, or was that my turn?
I believe, was that a full action for casting, or is it...
One action, yeah.
Yeah. So you have that information, and you can use that to inform your attack next time.
Okay. Who's next? I would like to tell them where the weak spots are.
Yeah, it'll be Cherry next.
Cherry, hit that rock there. Got it.
Great. So yeah, you can have that information from Jules. It seems to be that there's some sort of weak spot within this rock.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
My turn?
Yep.
I real quick want to turn to Daphne and I say, hey Daphne.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it, just get behind me and I'm gonna protect you because I feel like you kind of deserve my spot. I don't even know if I want to be part of this anyway or not. I'm just kind of doing it to make my mom happy. I might want to do it. I don't know. But you seem like you really want this, so, worst comes to worst, get out of here. And I do magic missile on the rocks.
Awesome, yeah.
Nice.
So go ahead and
to be having a crisis like that.
go ahead and roll your d4s for your missiles.
Ooh. 9. 11.
11, great. So, Cherry, you have this conversation with Daphne, and Daphne looks at you and she says, I believe you're meant to be here. And you turn around and you shoot these heart beams into this rock and disintegrate it into a million pieces.
Nice.
Left behind it is this Gallus. It's a monk, but they look like they're a rooster. So there's this like mohawk of red hair, this waddle that's under them, but they have these flowing monk-like robes, and they have this stance that they were holding. It seems as if they didn't expect this rock to just vaporize, and they look surprised to see you. Next up.
Surprise, mother cluckers!
Yeah! It's Coco.
Okay, so there's 2 of them.
So right now, all that you've seen is Gallus. This Gallus that's there. This rooster.
Okay, so it's 1 rooster.
Yeah.
I am going to step out of my veil of dust and cast Charm Person.
Okay. Go ahead and let's see. I have to get a resistance for that, I believe.
It's a wisdom saving
Wisdom
throw.
saving.
Okay.
And it says it does so with advantage because we're fighting it.
Amazing. So I'll give disadvantage. Didn't even need it. Yep. So this Gallus sort of has been surprised by the vaporization of a rock, sees this Corvum come out of the shadows, and then just, how does your charm person look?
So my charm person, I come out of the shadows with a veil of confidence, but it's kind of a thinly veiled, so you can kind of tell that I'm super nervous, but I'm going for it. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of lift my wings and I start doing something very small with my hands as I'm nodding.
Cherry goes, go,
And then you see magic kind of come out of the center of my body in 2 swarms directly towards this rooster target. Yeah. As I'm still nodding.
As Coco's beak is moving up and down, and this energy wraps from around her onto this rooster, you can see his beak start to follow the same nodding pattern, and you can see him sort of relax from this pose. Harrison, I guess we're going to be out of initiative, but I will give you your action now that you've readied. If you'd like to strike, you can.
I see him
Mm-hmm.
kind of becoming, just kind of changing his. Well, actually, I'll let you. Maybe the fates and the roll of the dice. As soon as I see the rock explode and he's exposed and his attention isn't on me, I spring into action.
I'll give that to you. Yeah.
Now, do I perceive that there's a change in his demeanor and that he is not looking like he's threatening?
I would, if you'd like to, you can make a perception check to see.
Because this is going to determine the result of what I do.
Right.
A 13.
A 13. So I guess it's you deciding, in a sense, if you want to go forward with this, because that's a middle of the road sort of roll, huh?
So Harrison, as soon as the rock is obliterated, the rooster's guard is down, and Harrison, in like a gust of leaves, springs into the moment out of nowhere, and you see his sword rise up, and the sword looks like it almost looks like it's like a foxtail.
Ooh,
like
yeah.
But you can tell that although it's like really ornate, as the blade, as you get further up the blade, it gets definitely deadly sharp. And he attacks. Boom.
Nice. Go ahead and roll to hit. You get advantage because he's essentially prone in a way.
And what Cherry gave me, is that a plus to my attack, or is that?
I think it's to damage.
That is. The weapon becomes a magic weapon with a +1 bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls.
And
Wow.
damage. Great.
So I had advantage, right?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
And
Because
+1.
I rolled a natty 1 and a 17.
Okay.
So-
I would take the 17.
Yeah, I'm
Just
gonna
my
take
opinion.
17. And that makes that 24.
Hits.
To hit.
It definitely hits.
So
Go ahead and roll damage.
now,
And-
did I surprise him because of my ambush?
Yes. A
Can I
lot
get
of
an-
things have surprised him recently.
And right as the sword is about to go down, I'm using my bonus action to basically mark him as my prey. So I get an extra d6. So
Great.
you just see Harrison's eyes flash, and there's a spark that goes from mine, and then like almost as if an echo of it appears in his eyes, but with a little bit of fear.
What does Harrison's mark look like? This is a hunter's mark.
It is that exact flash. It's like a spark that comes out of my eye, and then it's just like echoes in his eyes, and kind of just sort of makes his face kind of just go white.
Yeah.
And he's takes +5, so that's 9, 10, 15 points of damage.
Wow. So as you strike down, all of you have seen this sort of chain of events. You know, rock explodes. The rooster sees Coco, gets entranced, and then out of nowhere, this blur of a fox comes swiping down with this sword, magically shooting sparks into the air, and completely takes out this rooster. It falls to the ground, and you can see that this white sort of iridescent shield sort of goes around this person and encompasses them like a cocoon, and sort of like spring forms to them. And this rooster seems to be frozen in a pose. Harrison, you're not quite sure what happened, but you land in that cool anime style, like you're not looking behind you, but you just made a real cool strike.
Whoa.
We should have had a plan. We didn't have a plan. It was our fault for not having a plan.
But it truly worked.
Didn't we win? I think we just he's not throwing any more fire bolts at us, is he?
No, that's good. I was hoping we might have some information, or maybe his team found some magical items or something that could aid us in our journey, but it's fine.
Oh, let's loot him.
Can we? In his state?
So you walk over to the statue, and everything about it is just encased in this stone. So clothing, any sort of weapons. It's all sort of fused together. Daphne comes up and starts poking at it and goes, I think you killed him.
Well, no. I know I wouldn't have killed him. I definitely wouldn't have. But I know that the rules of this place that we're in, he just got sent back. That's all that means. It just means that we beat him, and that's part of the trial.
Yeah.
Well, unless he was another student that snuck in. What if every person we face is going to be a student that snuck in and we killed them for reals?
Well, I think
if we killed them for real, it probably wouldn't look like this, if I had to guess. I mean, I haven't actually seen a real dead person in real life, but, I've seen pictures and read about it a lot, and I don't think it would look like that.
Daphne is sort of got this smug look on her face. You can tell from her eyes. And she sort of holds up her jeweled book. And she's like, I might be able to help a little, but it's cheating.
No,
we can't cheat.
Well, you say no, you bad girl.
Well,
No, you can't. Unless you're going to help him. If he's hurt and you can help him, then that's okay, but you can't help us.
Yes, this is a matter of possible life or death.
Yes,
right?
And I can tell you, and she flips open the book, and inside it looks like it's a box, not a book. It's just shaped like it. There's a deck of cards. She pulls out her cards and starts shuffling through them and holds one up. And you see an image of that rooster. And they're holding this cool pose. It's up on a rock sort of post. He's a monk, and he's like gazing off into the sunset. And this card sort of has like stats on it about Condor, this sort of spellcaster that is a part of a team. And she holds up the cards for the rest of his team. She folds them back up into her book, and she's like, "But we don't want to be cheating.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to cheat. But
I do want to tell you that the rest of them are probably going to be after you now."
Well, they shouldn't have split up their team.
Well, he shouldn't have attacked us first.
Agreed.
At that moment, we're going to take a quick pause. We're going to take a quick pause as we just deliberate how to move forward. Welcome back. We've got our fantastic foursome who are out of the woods and into the desert. Firebolts are flying left and right. And we have just sort of taken care of a enemy team member. So we join them as they're sort of surrounding Daphne, who's holding up these cards that seem to have information about the candidates. She quickly tucks the rest of them away into the box that looks like a book and says, "Cheating."
Hang on a second, though. I mean, what if Daphne wants to prove herself and try to become part of this school? If she doesn't use any magic, then she's not going to get a shot at it.
That's not on us. That's not on us, because we got to just do this ourselves. This is Team Chija Hako, okay? This is us. This is Cherry, Jules, Harrison. If anybody else wants to throw out a better nickname,
what about
go for it.
Chija Hako, duh.
Yeah.
But that gives us an extra person. And are all the other teams, were they all teams of 4? Were there teams of 5, 6? Are we...
No, I believe they're all teams of 4, and I'm all for open discourse and dialogue, and we can debate this out in a proper debate format if we so choose. But I don't think we should do anything that would disqualify the 4 of us.
Mm-mm.
Laws are laws for a reason, and I obey the law all the time. That's what I like to do. So
and I can't miss this opportunity. I have to prove myself, and I can't. I can't let anything take that from me. So
honestly, I just kind of did it, and I regret it. I know I'm way above or below level to be here. I can't even conjure basic flames, but I'm such a fan, and I wanted to see it for myself. And you don't really get to experience this unless you're trying out for it, and I would never be chosen.
Why not?
Well, just stay close to us and stay quiet and don't help. And then at the end of it, we're just going to say really nice things about you, okay? We're just going to say that you could hold your own and we didn't help you at all. And that you didn't help us, but we were there to lend a hand. And
Well, you certainly are brave if you know that you were underqualified and you jumped in anyway without a team all by yourself. There's got to be something to that, and maybe they'll I don't know, look kindly on that.
I agree. Well said, Jules.
She takes all of that information in and looks a little bit crestfallen, and then looks with hopeful eyes over at Cherry. What do you think?
I think you should get your shot at it. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I'm just doing this because it's gonna make my mom happy. And I feel like
Are you telling me that you don't love magic?
I mean, I do, but it's just like, it's there. It's not like something that I want to have to like sit and learn. It's not my passion. It's just something that I do. And that's
Harry, if you don't want to do magic and like cool battle stuff, what do you want to do?
You're gonna laugh.
No, we wouldn't. And Daphne sort of is like encouraging you all to play along. No.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, we won't laugh.
Well, I want to dance. I'm really good at it, and it's been how I kind of express myself because I have to hang out at the temple all day and do dumb cleric stuff, and dancing is the only way I have to express myself. And I don't know, my mom doesn't really want me to do it. I like magic, don't get me wrong, and I'm good at it. It's just I don't know if I want that to be my career,
Daphne sort of walks
over. Do you think
over.
that maybe there are magical arts that could help enhance your dancing?
I mean, yeah, but
like you could cast sparks when you do a turn, and that would look so sick.
that'd be pretty sweet. But maybe I don't need the academy for that. Maybe Daphne should fill my position, and I'll just kind of be along for sport.
I don't know if that's in the rules, though. Can you just switch places? And Daphne can't really help us right now, either.
Yeah, that would give us all a lot of trouble, and frankly, no offense, Daphne, but I don't believe in her as a warrior. You're just not quite there yet, so feel like that's not the move.
Not right now.
Daphne walks over and takes your wing, Cherry, and she looks you in the eye and she says, "When this is all over, let's dance.
Okay.
But for now, I need you to believe in magic like I do. Because all four of you need to be at your top game. This is still dangerous. And if your heart isn't in it, the magic is going to know."
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I gotta believe in the magic. Thanks.
As you say, I believe in the magic, there's a sort of hum that comes around all four of you. Not Daphne, though. And you look down and you're all glowing red. You've never seen this happen before. You're sort of, it's like someone increased the brightness and increased the redness of you. And then it sort of breaks into a million little sparkling pieces. And you see this red symbol of a leaf sort of shoot up and then dissipate. And a red light, a beam, shoots out right in front of you, going down a path in this desert.
We've been taking too much time. We have to keep going. Other teams, I guarantee other teams are not standing around talking like we are. We have to stay focused.
No, but don't you think a new path has opened up? Don't you think that means we passed some sort of next trial?
Daphne looks down and she
earlier.
says, I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Thank you, Daphne. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, magic is always going to be there for you.
Oh, well, then we should keep going down this new path, yes?
I think so.
We're so good that I don't even know what the trial is that we passed, but it seems like we keep passing ones that I didn't even recognize were trials.
I think it was that really cool fighting move that you did, Harrison.
Oh, well.
Harrison was pretty sick.
So, I assume that we're moving down this path.
Yes.
What is the order that you're going down? Are you going in like a group, or is one person leading?
I'm gonna hang back.
I can go up in front unless someone else wants to come and join me up in the front.
I'll head forward with Harrison too, but we got to make sure that we keep Daphne in the middle of us.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
So Daphne and Coco kind of take the center part of this line as Jules takes up the rear and Harrison and Cherry sort of strike on forward. Yes. Very protected.
I got your back.
Yeah. As you move forward, the landscape again begins to shift, and this dry heat gives way to a cold, a chill that comes over you. And all of a sudden, this rock, as you look closer, it's ice. It sort of shines over, and it's no longer this desert rock, but large shards of deep blue and purple ice. The path before you crystallizes, and this red beam still marches forward. But as you go further and further, the ground underneath you, you feel it start to give way. This is ice, and it's not going to stay ice for long. Harrison and Cherry, can you please make dexterity saves?
Oh no!
Oh, man. Okay.
13.
20.
Sweet. Okay, so the two of you are walking forward, and as the landscape changes, both of you feel under your feet this sort of cracking as it splinters out underneath you, but you both manage to dodge away in time back towards your team members. What does that look like for Harrison?
So as soon as I see that that's happening, I just do like a kind of back tumble and spring right up onto my feet, ready for action, right next to my comrades, my friends that are behind me.
My comrades. Cherry.
Jerry goes like, whoa, and uses the wings, like the momentum of the wings to kind of like, those birds that like balance.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, and then, like flaps sort of backwards and like lands like.
Yeah, as you sort of come back on your haunches and hit the ground harder, this crack splits out in front of you, and it sort of takes the whole ground. It splinters like a porcelain dish that's been shattered. The cracks seem to echo out, and you can hear it coming back from this distance. And as you look out, you can tell there are no more trees. There are no more rocks. There are barely even ice mounds. It seems like this open plain of snow that has these tiny splinter cracks all over them.
Do we still see that red beam of light?
It seems to get refracted in all of these ice beams or ice shards, and the beam breaks off in different ways. So it's a bit confusing, but it's still heading in that direction.
What do we do from here? I don't know. Will we press forward?
Can we roll for perception?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll survival, Jules. We'll see if she has anything. And then anybody else would like to do perception or a skill that might be higher, if they have it?
Yeah, I'll check.
I got a 19.
Great.
Maybe nature?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nature.
Yeah, that'll count.
I'll do nature. 17.
17.
Crit fail.
For Cherry?
Yeah, so it's a 7 with my modifier, but I rolled a 1.
Oh, for
what's
Coco.
going on tonight?
I rolled a 12 total nature check.
Gotcha.
It's just really confusing to see all this stuff. So
It is. And did Cherry roll?
Oh, 17.
Oh, yeah, okay. So Cherry and Jules, this is magical ice. You can tell that applying pressure once will splinter it. Applying pressure again will disintegrate it altogether. But you can see the far corners of the cracks starting to heal themselves. So it seems like this whole place is sort of resetting. And that's what you gather. Coco, It's cold out. Harrison, you can see that you two can see as you're looking closer that these cracks are starting to sort of like knit together. You're not sure what that means, but this ice seems to be becoming whole again.
But it was definitely about to give way. At least it felt like it was going to give way underneath my feet.
It felt like that, yeah.
You guys,
great.
it's okay. This is magical ice. I've studied about this before. It will mend itself. So let's tread on it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I'm a warm weather Corvum, so I'm not really familiar with this.
That's true.
But
Cherry,
it really
though,
felt like it was going to shatter underneath us, and I don't know if I want to risk falling to whatever is underneath that. That'll definitely be a failure in this test.
Well, how do we get across?
Cherry, as soon as Jules had said magical ice, you have this like flashback of the monastery, and you were flipping through a tome, this ancient tome, that ancient tome. They all start to look the same.
Tomes.
Yeah. And you saw this story about magical ice, and the whole thing was you can only take one step forward. 2 steps forward on the same thing and it will fall beneath you. Step back again on something you've already tread and it will fall below you. So whatever lesson it was trying to teach you, it was over your head. But you remember bits of that story.
Yeah, I think I remember that it's dangerous.
Your roots thing, Coco, can those make like a bridge of some sort, you think?
I mean, maybe. It'd be worth a try.
Yeah? So you want to cast Entangle on the ice?
Yeah, let me see with Entangled how far is this magical ice?
As far as you can tell, it seems to go off into the curvature distance. Like, it just seems to keep going.
Okay, because the range on this is 90 feet.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry. They can come out of the ground in a 20-foot square.
There. Okay.
So I'm wondering if that would cover it.
I think I have an idea. Maybe.
So,
It could be worth it. I'm not sure if it'll cover the entire area. But you were able to step on it once without falling. So if we could surmise that maybe that would happen again, then if the bridge can get us far enough that we would only need to take one step, or perhaps in some way all stand on top of each other and each of us only take one step, so that way we have 4 steps in total or something of that nature, maybe we could make it across.
So wait, if we take like the 2 steps at a time, so we can go one in front of the other, and that'd be okay? Jules?
I don't know how it works. I just know that I saw you two step on it and then back up, and it was okay, seemingly, but they would assume if you stepped on it more than that, it might fall and break.
Coco, you're really smart. I don't know. I see myself more as the brawn of the group. So I believe what you say. It's clear that you study a lot.
Well, if you're the brawn and we need to make some kind of human pyramid, maybe you could be the one that carries us all.
Well,
yeah. Okay. I mean, technically, Harrison's, you're the biggest, right? And then I'm maybe second biggest.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do pyramid formation. Okay.
Wait, I have a question, I think. If it's... So this is a test, right? Why else would they put magical ice in front of us to have to get through? And if it's... And what is it what's the lesson then? What is it that they're trying to teach us if they create something that makes it impossible for us to move forward twice in the same block of ice without it falling, causing us to fall underneath it? So what do they want to see here?
Maybe the lesson is teamwork.
As you're asking this, you hear a small, guys, from Daphne. And as you look down to check on her, you can see that the ground below you, too, has started to shimmer. And it's strange because it's not a property of magical ice, and you can sort of see where it's coming from. This might be a spell that is being cast upon you.
Oh.
I see.
Nefarious intent?
and it's happening pretty quickly.
I pull out my sword for sure.
Okay, I'm casting Entangle.
Okay, so Coco dives down and puts her wings out onto this ice, and vines shoot out from it, coming up from the cracks and the crevices and sort of weaving together to make this pathway, this bridge that moves forward. It seems to solidify as she's casting it.
Come, friends, come!
Okay, go!
I have complete faith in this, in what Coco just did, and I move forward.
Yeah.
I trust you completely, Coco.
All of you move forward. Coco, are you staying at the end of the bridge to sort of solidify it, or are you moving forward too?
If I'm able, it's concentration up to 1 minute. So if I'm able to keep concentration while moving across it, then I'd like to do that.
Like Iceman it?
Yeah.
Just like with vines?
So all of you are moving on this entangled bridge, and Daphne comes up behind you, and you see Coco sort of muttering to herself. And as she is, this entanglement sort of web seems to move along the ice as she is sort of recalling the vines from the back and placing them out in front. And just as you were moving along this ice, there's this huge explosion that erupts right where you were standing. It seems that this was an explosion spell of some sort that targeted this area, and snow goes flying into the air and comes drifting down. So you're still on this entanglement bridge, surrounded by
Am I able to keep
magical ice.
concentration through that?
I want you to make a check for that.
What check would you like me to make?
That is a good question. Let's see. Well, you can make a concentration check. Let's add your Arcana to it.
Okay. 19.
Oh yeah. Coco, you're focused on this. You're committed to saving, and you found out this is teamwork. You're working together. You wouldn't have been able to do this on your own. And that's what keeps you going. The rest of you are on this moving vine bridge, and as the smoke and the snow clears, you can see that there is what looks like a badger, a mapach, that is coming close to where the explosion had happened. He's got the black lines down his face and a white sort of snout and black nose. He's also wearing, weirdly enough, like a fur cap of some sort, but it's brown fur with sort of things sticking out of it, and a dark green coat. He seems to have like bits and baubles. It seems to be like some sort of maybe traveling merchant. Coco, you feel a strange sort of like kinship with it if you weren't concentrating so hard on this spell. But yes, you see this person as the smoke is clearing, and they sort of eye you up as you're moving along.
Was that guy part of the thing, or is he just like, did he wander in here like Daphne did?
Daphne pulls out a card and says, "That's Harvey. You gotta watch out for that one."
Mm-hmm.
Was that cheating just now? That wasn't cheating, right?
Oh,
No.
sorry.
We can assume that anyone else that we encounter that's trying to come after us like this is probably someone who's testing us or trying to get the best of us. And I'm not going to let that happen. I pull out my sword.
Well, you're so brave, Harrison.
As you pull out your sword and you look to confront your enemy, you can see that he's definitely casting something again. His hands are moving, he's muttering, there's energy like glowing around him.
Do we have actions yet? Or
Yes, yeah. You have actions on this bridge. I'm not going to have you do initiative just yet, but just know that he's casting, and Coco, you're concentrating. It's moving along at about a crawling pace, so you're not going fast. How long does that? Did you say it lasts for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do something.
Yes, please.
I look at him and I stare at him, like I stare him down, and I am going to cast fear on him.
Oh, all right. So I will say, yes, he has made like eye contact with you as you drew the sword and sort of took a defensive stance. So I believe there's a save against that.
It is 13. It's a wisdom save DC. My save DC is 13.
Great. My poor NPCs, come on. Total failure.
Nice.
Yeah. Can you describe for me sort of what happens and what that looks like?
Yes, I can. So I'm an image. So right from my eyes, like I'm staring him down, and I point my sword right at him, and I say, "Stand down," and that just starts to echo, and it bounces off of all of the ice. And it creates this cacophony of this sound of something that is like terrifying to him, like an avalanche. So his spell turning on himself. So I'm tapping into his fear of inadequacy as he's a student, just like we are. Right. So he's in the moment believing that his spell is backfiring, and that there's an avalanche that's being that's just falling right onto him.
Yeah, so all of you watching this Mapach, you saw he's very intimidating, this badger, and he's casting, and all of a sudden Harrison sort of proclaims out into the ice, and it bounces back and forth, becoming louder and louder, and it totally disrupts his spellcasting. He is like totally taken aback by this, and actually catches a glimpse of Harrison's eyes, and in that, he feels inadequate. His spell wouldn't have worked. He should drop out now. And so you just see him sort of slunch his shoulders and turn and walk away.
Can I just sidebar with the ladies really quick? That was really impressive.
Coco is concentrating, but Cherry's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm listening. Just I don't look like it.
She's like, oh my God. Yeah, that was really cool. Hey,
I'm not trying to distract you or anything, but like, damn.
Hey, Jules, whoa. Do you like fancy Harrison?
I don't.
Come on, it's okay. You can tell me. It's safe. You may lose concentration. Sorry. Okay.
I'm concentrating too, like projecting this thing, and I'm like, come on, guys, get him.
And
yeah, I do. Okay.
As the two of you are having this sort of whispered conversation, Daphne has been like huddled out of danger and is sort of listening, and she rifles through the cards and looks at you, Cherry, and she says, well, that would make sense. I mean, obviously, since Jules's weakness seems to be social interaction, or maybe even love. And then she puts...
Did I hear that?
Yeah, and then she puts the card back in the box.
Oh, now do me.
My spot. Yeah.
And then she pulls out a card, and you catch a glimpse. It says Cherry on it. And it seems that she has gotten a hold of the professor's notes about all of the different team members. She pulls out this card and says that, it seems like you have this need to fulfill a destiny of some sort. But, yeah, it seems like just making you question your intentions.
You sneaky lady.
And she puts it back.
How did you steal that from the professors? That's impressive.
Wait, you didn't hear what she said, right?
Yeah, so Harrison has dealt with the threat and turned around and can hear this. Poor Coco is still gibbering away trying to keep this spell going. You're about, if you look around now, you're about in the middle of just all ice. You can't see a shore on either side. And Coco, you're feeling that your magic is running out.
We have to. I start running. I mean, we need to get through this, and we'll talk later.
Vines.
Yeah, I'm trying to move forward before the magic runs out. We're running out of time.
So all of a sudden, Harrison just sprints forward off of the vines onto the ice.
Follow me!
As he goes, you can see the clear footsteps that he makes across the ice as they have these little cracks, but they seem to be contained in the footsteps.
Okay. Everybody, aim for one of the spots that hasn't been hit yet. Single file. Let's go. Well, not single file. I mean, individually. Definitely not single file.
Is
the opposite.
Is Jules small enough? Well, I guess we're all probably the same size creatures, right?
Relatively, yeah.
Okay.
You're all people to each other.
I was like, could one of us carry another one? But
in the sense of piggybacking or carrying over the threshold.
You wanna hop on here? You wanna just hop up? Come on. Yeah. Just let me over.
So as Coco sort of mounts Jules, the concentration breaks and the vines sort of disintegrate. And Coco, on top of Jules, you both can feel this sort of kunk as you both once sink into the ice, but you're not moving. And it doesn't seem to be like splintering out. Daphne, too, looks down and feels that kakunk, and the same with you, Cherry. But you were moving forward, and so you kind of take it in stride as the vines sort of disappear.
All right. Here we go.
As long as we step in separate directions and don't hit any prior cracks, results so far would lead us to believe that that would be okay.
Yeah, I thought it was like a technicality where like you had this, where if you stepped on the same ice, like, pond, it would, you know what? This is much better. All right, let's go.
So can you explain to me how you are moving? Where are you positioned? You said not single file, so are you fanning out?
Fan out, like let's go, all abreast.
Great.
Yeah,
so
and Coco's
you're making...
on my gerbine back.
Yeah.
Great. So you fall into this sort of line, I guess, with Cherry and Jules with Coco on her back. Harrison has sort of taken off and is moving forward. Daphne joins that sort of chorus line.
Daphne, do you need a ride? Do you need to
She
hop on?
looks down and she said, "Do you mind?"
Yeah, no, get on.
Okay.
It's cool.
She runs over and jumps on your back. Cherry, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity save to see if you can keep your footing.
Ugh. I'm not great at that. Ooh, 13.
A 13! Oh no! So, Cherry starts to stumble around a little bit after the weight of an excited Daphne comes over her, and she sees the splintering out as she is not sure, but maybe she stepped in the same place twice. And the crack spreads out further and further, and all of the footprints now start to connect and get, and you hear again this cracking and it's shattering out. Harrison, you're sprinting forward, and you hear this sort of like crackling noise that gets louder and louder. And as you look behind you, this ice is falling apart. Jules, with Coco on her back, the two of you are seeing this jagged ice appear again, and you're moving around. You have a dexterity save as well. I'm going to give you disadvantage, so you're going to roll 2 and take the lower, since you've got Coco on your back.
Okay.
So just Jules rolls. I don't
Just
roll.
Jules.
I would like to use. Oh, I have a good move, but I need to know where to find it. I have an automatic success.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That I would
is that
just
a
like to
Jabine
use.
thing?
Yeah, let me find it. It's
I think you're right. Let me look too. Yes. Okay.
I also have
Is
a
it- can I-
question.
Yes.
The ice underneath Cherry,
Yeah.
how bad? Is it like one major crack, or is it like...
At this point, it's sort of splintered out again. You've seen it before, and it's having that
Okay.
same reaction.
Uh-oh.
So yes, I'm going to give this to you. You have
Tides of Chaos, right?
Tides of Chaos, yeah. So you're
Okay,
sort of rolling
yes.
along with this. It literally is a tide of chaos as this is like shattering through.
In the
So-
monastery, I learned how to ride the wave of chaos.
Yeah. So I'm going to give that to you. You're able to find like solid pieces of ice that you can sort of navigate around.
Okay.
Again, this red beam sort of gets refracted on all of these pieces, and you can see that it sort of branches out in different directions. Cutting to Cherry with Daphne on your back. I'm going to have you make another dex saving throw real quick, if you don't mind. I know it's your thing.
Oh no. So here's what I'm gonna do, and you can tell me if I can do this in an order.
Okay.
So I got an 8.
Uh-huh. But
She opens her mouth
ah.
and her eyes glaze over,
Yes.
and a giant eye pops up next to her.
Yeah. Is it next to her or is it high in the sky?
It's hot because it says up to 120
Right.
feet, but it can appear anywhere.
So it's like right at her
The
eye
way
level?
that we established is that it was a physical. We established that it was a physical item.
Right.
Oh boy.
So this giant eyeball appears.
Huh?
He's like, "Get on!"
Oh, I see. So once you once you start to you cast elevated sight, and this eye does appear, and you switch back to your body to say, "Get on!" And Daphne leaps off of your back onto this eye, but it's just a construct, and she falls right through it. And so she goes right through the eye down to the ice below. And Cherry, you have this unique privilege of taking the sight from elevated sight and watching your body just sort of fall into this inky blackness as the ice gives way. And you, from this elevated sight, you see Daphne fall down into this inky blackness. You see it spreading over. Jules and Coco fall down. And you see Harrison running on the ice, the blackness coming after him, shattering as he does. Harrison, what do you do?
So I turned around and I saw
Yeah, you're still
saw
running.
this happen, right?
Yeah, but you saw all of your friends have now sort of plunged down into the ice, but that eyeball is still there, and you know that's Cherry.
Wow. Okay, so the eyeball is there. That's Cherry, but she fell down. So
her body did, yeah.
I am going to. Do I have rope? Do we have any items or anything near us?
It
on
seems-
us, or do we just?
Like you have your sword, and any other sort of items or equipment didn't seem to make it with you into this dimension.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is the fact that Daphne is not protected and that she needs help. So I dive in after them.
So Harrison comes to a skid on the ice as he stares down his fear and plunges headfirst into the darkness. We come to Cherry. You see all of this happen. You see Harrison sort of take a stock of the situation, turn around, get a resolved face, and then jump into the blackness, and then you lose sight as well. All of you sort of feel the darkness. It's encroaching on your eyes. It's pressing on your ears. You can feel it muffling the sound that would come out of your mouth. It's oppressive. Jules. Oh, yes. Go ahead, Coco.
What are the chances that Coco has seen a giant octopus in real life 2 times before?
Aha! I will give this to you. She has.
Okay. Then, a giant octopus
Are you
is challenge
shape-shifting?
rating 2. So I would like to use Wild Shape,
Wild
a
Shape.
druid ability,
Mm-hmm.
to magically assume the shape of a beast that I've seen before twice.
I'll give it to you. Coco has done her research.
So I'm going to transform myself into a giant octopus, thereby being able to breathe underwater,
Yes.
and use my 8 legs to grab my friends
Uh-huh.
and swim in the direction we were going.
Great. We'll put a pause on that. Jules, you are in this inky darkness. What is your instinct? What are you thinking, or what would you like to do?
Is Coco still on my back?
It doesn't feel like it. But you can't really tell because the pressure of the darkness is just a little
I would
too
like
much.
to cast Firebolt to see if I can illuminate anything that I possibly can.
Yeah. You
Just in any direction.
start to make the motions of casting Firebolt, and you shoot it out of your fingers, and you see this bolt of red energy sort of shoot out and then immediately dissipate. This was not a spell that went off and missed. This was like sucked out of the air.
Oh.
Harrison, Cherry, you're also feeling this darkness now that your elevated sight has gone out, and you're also feeling this oppressive force. Something inside of you feels light, though. You have something that seems to be fighting this. You're not sure what it is, but you feel this like restless, burning energy inside of you. How would you like to attack the darkness?
I
If you'd like, I can go over to Harrison and see what he's doing first.
I shout, wait, there's somebody unprotected in here. Somebody snack in. Put a pause on it.
So, Cherry, you let out this cry, this desperate cry, just waiting to be heard by someone in charge, some authority figure.
I cast light.
And you cast light. And it seems like your words, as you're shouting them, sort of bounce right back at you. It's like they're not getting anywhere. But as you're casting light, it's almost as if your words are being inhabited by that light. You can see them coming out. You see protected. You see rescue. You see stop. And it seems like the spell casting that you're doing is reflected in your intentions. And the darkness feels less oppressive. You can move a little bit. Harrison, over to you. You've plunged headfirst into this darkness. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying. It's oppressive. You feel like you're sinking in quicksand, and your body is stiff to move. What would you like to do?
And there's just darkness all around me.
As far as you can tell, yeah.
I'm gonna try to move forward and try to find. I'm gonna do what I know to do. I try to calm myself. Mm-hmm. I try to center and quiet the fear, and I cast protection from good and evil.
Yes.
On myself,
mm-hmm.
and kind of like try to use that to help bolster at least some of my confidence so that I can move forward to try to find them, because I know Daphne's in trouble and they're in trouble.
As you sort of center your thoughts and you really put the intention behind it. It's not just, oh, I'm sinking or I'm drowning. It's, I need to protect somebody. I need to have a reason to protect myself so that I could protect others. And as this dawns upon you, you instinctively cast protection against good and evil. And the darkness does lessen around you. And you feel this sort of glowing bubble surround you, because you know that your mind is rock solid. It's the one thing that they can't take away from you. Jules, you are in the darkness. You're surprised that your gust, your innate ability, isn't going off. You're being touched. You're being you haven't felt this sort of pressure in a long time.
I don't like it.
It's strange. It's uncomfortable, and you feel this bubbling up inside of you. And if you'd like to, you feel that you could sort of gust this away from you.
I would absolutely like to gust this away.
Yeah, this gust barrier, it was sort of suppressed, but in the suppression, it gained this energy, this power, and you have a cyclone around you. You have this energy of wind. It's ripping, it's tearing the darkness. It's terrifying. But
I'm really hoping it's not knocking any of my friends on their asses. I just doing my thing.
However, are in the center of this. Everything around you is whipping. It's chaos. The darkness is being shredded. But where you are, it's calm and serene. Not dark and scary. You feel complete. As you do, you don't need this wind barrier anymore. You feel okay in your own skin. And the glow that comes from you radiates out against this darkness. And then you feel this pull sort of behind your navel. It's the weird same sort of pull that you felt when you were dipping a toe into the portal. Harrison, you're also feeling this weird tug. And Cherry, I'm not even sure if you have a navel, but in your belly, you feel it. And all three of you are sort of jerked backwards. Coco, you assume the shape of this octopus, and you reach out into the darkness because you know that you can't do this alone, and you will do whatever it takes to protect those around you and make things happen. And you wrap your tentacles around what you think might be your companions, and you bring them in. And as they come forward, your companions break through the darkness. You see Harrison coming through. You see Jules and Cherry, and you see Daphne in a tentacle coming through the darkness. All of you are sort of pulled together in this clearing of light, and you're seeing this octopus. What does the octopus look like?
I am a very large octopus with 8 tentacles that are grabbing them as gently as I can. I'm kind of like a light brown, kind of beigey color, not too spotty, kind of all one similar beige, if you will. And I want to. I'm trying to think. Octopuses don't really have mouths, so I probably can't.
They have a beak, don't they? Or is that a squid?
Super creepy, gross-looking beak.
Octopi have beaks.
Yeah, on the inside, like under the big bulbous part.
Okay, so if I... Oh, yes. I have a mouth on the inside.
Yeah.
So if I can, like, shift my tentacles in a way that they're kind of looking at my mouth, which probably looks very vulgar...
Yeah.
Then I'm going to say from that gross mouth, guys, don't be scared. It's me. I'll get us out of this. We have to stick together.
This is definitely coming out of the giant octopus.
How do we know that we can trust you, giant octopus? Say one thing that only Coco would know about herself.
I've seen your really cool sword, Jules.
Okay. Cool. You passed the test.
And as you pass this test, you can see the darkness completely melting away. And Daphne pulls out her box, and she sort of is like she's confused. Cherry, you notice her over there, sort of looking at it.
What's up? What happened?
Oh, well, I'm glad everybody's safe, but it feels warm. And she opens the box and holds up what looks like the remains of a card. It's the remains of your card, Jules, and it sort of fades out into ash. And she's looking,
really
and
glad that
she's
that's
like,
gone, because nobody else needs to know that information.
Coco's is gone too, and Harrison's and Cherry's. I don't understand. I thought these were your weaknesses.
What do you...
Maybe we no longer are prone to our weaknesses.
Does that mean that I can finally kiss somebody?
Daphne just goes, I guess. Yeah, and Coco leans forward.
I just stick my tongue out to whoever will receive it.
Yeah, and Coco and Jules
It's
share
Coco.
an awkward kiss. And it's kind of beautiful.
Are you still an octopus? You're still an octopus.
Still an octopus.
Amazing.
Octopus was my first kiss.
Yeah.
Oh no, am I a freak?
Giant octopus.
And on that day, Jules discovered something. No.
Kissed
Okay.
anyone as an octopus before? Thank you.
Amazing.
So you're sharing in this beautiful moment, and it sort of dawns on you to look at your surroundings. You can see that the darkness has melted away, and you're inside a cavern. As unlikely as that seems, you seem to have fallen down into this rock, sort of crystal cavern. There are glowing sort of mushrooms that emanate out, and everything is a little damp. And as you look down, you can see that, in fact, you're standing in this sort of light river that's reflecting all of the crystal light as well. And as you do look down, you can see a reflection in the water of a blue leaf symbol that sort of seems to ripple away, and a blue beam shoots out down this cavernous tunnel.
So we've passed some other tests, because now we've got another light.
I'm sorry, I thought I almost, screwed us up for that one, and I almost got you killed, Daphne. Sorry.
How is Daphne doing?
If you take a look at her, she's roughed up. Like, it seems like all of you seem to have some light damage, but it seems to be hitting her a little harder, and her clothing seems a little bit tattered. She said, I'm fine. I'll be okay. I love it.
She loves it.
Huh.
How dark is it in this cavern?
It's luminescent, so it's dark, but you can definitely see.
Can I help, can I do a medicine check and help patch her up a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you roll medicine for me?
Nice. 22.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So you've got some herbs that seem to have made it through the portal that you can grind up to make a sort of relief for some of her scratches, because you can see that beyond the fur, some of it did sort of get to the skin, and you start slathering these on. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm going to
really tough
turn
test.
back into a Corvum.
Yeah, so the octopus sort of anamorphs back into another animal.
As soon
Is
as
this
Coco
weird
shows
now?
up, Harrison takes one knee yet again. Coco, I'm indebted to you. All of you seem to keep saving us and saving me, and I'm learning something that I didn't come into this test thinking. I remember seeing you when the professor called for us, and I walked past you and didn't pay any attention to you, not knowing that you were actually going to be my teammates. And now I am so thankful that you're the group that I'm traveling through this with. And I suddenly feel this, I don't know, freedom. I don't feel like I need to prove myself anymore. I feel unburdened, and honestly, it's not to me worth even winning this if it is at the expense of Daphne. And I turn to look at her and I see how tattered she is, and I say, I don't care how long it takes us to get through this. I don't care if we come in last, as long as she comes out safe, because I rushed through that last test. And I think that might be why the ice below us may have been caused to crumble, because I was rushing through it to win, and now I don't care. I just want to make sure that we're safe, and especially
Sidebar
her.
with the girls real quick. Does he know how hot that is? He knows that he's being hot right now, right? Like, that's the thing that he's trying to do right now.
I think he doesn't know it's hot, and that's probably what makes it hotter.
And I'm still talking like as if they're listening still.
Yeah, the crystals are echoing your heartfelt speech, and no one's listening.
No, hindsight observation is always important and well respected.
Yeah. No, I get. I see it though.
I just kept going and going, and I stand up finally done and dust myself off, and I bow to them, and instead of charging forward, I wait. So we'll all move together.
Harrison, as you stand up, you realize that you are actually kneeling in water. And so you stand up and realize that maybe your trousers are a little wetter than they were before, but also that the level... yeah. Also, the level of water seems to be higher than it was before. You do notice that.
We better... Make tracks.
Move. Perhaps I should have stayed as an octopus.
Okay, so maybe we should have a little bit of urgency with how we move. I'm gonna grab Daphne, and I'm gonna kind of like, if I may, I'm gonna put her on my shoulders.
Here we go.
Okay.
I love magic.
I'm sorry, what?
I love magic.
Oh, great. So where do we go? Where's
Yeah.
the blue? It's a blue light now.
Yeah, follow the blue light.
Yeah, it seems to be just a tunnel that heads straight down, lit by these phosphorus mushrooms and crystals, reflecting off of this water that, now that you notice, does seem to be flowing a little bit. It's not stagnant water. So you're moving down this cavern, and you can sort of hear a rushing noise. Strange.
Water.
Oh yeah, maybe. That is kind of what it sounds like.
Water that's now moving faster than before.
Yeah.
That's where the big snail boy is.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Cherry, do a perception check for me.
16.
Great. The this rushing sound, it's not coming from the direction that the blue line is going. It seems to be coming from the other way.
That's from that way.
Is it coming towards us?
And
Is
she
it getting
points
louder?
behind you.
The way we just came?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is the water flowing in the direction that we're going or the other direction?
It's flowing in the direction that you're going.
Okay.
But the rushing water sounds like it's coming from behind us. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
weird.
try to listen to hear if it's getting louder or
It is.
softer.
Uh-oh.
It's coming right now in our
Uh-oh.
direction, so be ready.
Oh,
Yeah.
we need to move.
Okay, we
Moving.
keep moving.
But I'm not leaving them behind this time, but I'm ushering them
Yeah.
along.
Yeah, no, keep going, keep going.
So you start moving quickly down this tunnel, and it just seems like it's gonna keep going forever. As you're going, actually, Coco, can you make a nature check for me?
Yes, it can. A 10.
So it just seems like this cavern, it just never ends. It's just going and going and going. Let's see. Jules, can you do a nature check for me?
Yeah. 9.
Great. Yeah, it just seems to keep going. And this rushing sound of water is definitely coming up from behind you.
This cavern is going on forever.
How do we get out of this? Oh,
Daphne
And it's
goes,
coming-
that is the question. We're
Yeah,
going to be okay, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll be okay. I'm worried about you.
Me too.
But wait, you survived this other thing too, the darkness that was all around us. That was I'm going to try to recall like some lessons that I feel like my mentor was trying to teach me that were more about like mental and focus.
Uh-huh.
Let me just roll it and see. And then
Sure. Yeah,
try to
go
role
ahead.
play my way through it. Oh, I rolled a 19 plus 4, so
Okay.
23. I want to see if I can recall like if there was ever a moment in my training where the lesson was don't stop running, turn around and face this.
You flash back to a training session that you went through with one of your mentors. You were in the forest, hunting and gathering, learning the ways, tracking, becoming in tune with nature. And one of the practices that they had you do was to stand underneath a waterfall. At first, it seemed impossible. The pressure of the water was too much, and it was cold, and you were wet, and you hated it. But eventually, you did kind of get the hang of it. I'm not sure if the lesson really stuck, but something about being stubborn under this incredible force of nature felt relieving in a way. You felt immovable.
I see. I convey that to my friends. I think the lesson, obviously, each time the lesson has been to me a surprise. It's not been the thing that was the obvious thing right in front of us.
Harrison,
we're meant to.
You're saying these things, but it's hard to hear you because there's definitely a deafening, rushing sound of water. So if you're going to have to speak up if you want people to hear you.
Hey, everybody, take hands and hold strong and firm and just believe that you can withstand this that's coming for us. It's coming. It's unavoidable. Just stand up to it.
That's so vague.
As you all grab hands, Daphne grabs your hand, Harrison, and you feel this energy well up within you. As you say, stand your ground, you feel as if those words are manifesting, and this sort of shimmering field appears on this picket line wall that you've set up, and a crashing tidal wave comes up against it and completely wipes it out. All of you get lost in this swirling foam of seawater, and it's rushing, and it's cold, and it's frightful.
I don't like it.
You don't like it. Jules, what are you doing? You still are holding on to the other's hands, but it's tough. You're going to let go any second now.
I just feel really grossed out right now. I've got like a touch thing. You guys know that. I don't like foam on my body. I don't like water. Ugh. I don't like it. Who do I have on me right now?
Who do you have on you?
Yeah, am I holding on to anybody?
Yeah, you can be holding on to Cherry and to Coco.
Okay. Do I have an action?
Yes, yeah.
We're trying to find our footing, right?
It's whatever you believe.
I would like to intimidate the water.
You would. I love that. Do it. Roll an intimidation check. You're going to scare this water.
All right. 14.
I'll give it to you. So you're standing there, and you feel the
touch me!
Support of your teammates, and you scream out, "Stop touching me!" And again, these words that you have, you've clarified your intent. You feel the magical force within you, and you've never controlled your gust in this way, but you sort of reinforce this barrier that Harrison has set up. Cherry, you felt the cold wash through you, but it's feeling a little bit better now. You feel stronger. One of your wings is sort of flapping in the water, but one of them is held tight onto Jules, and you felt this resolution as she shouted that forward. What are you doing?
You're doing great, Jules! And I cast Gust, but instead of just being forward to me, I add it to Jules' Gust.
Yeah, so you use your flapping wing to sort of do the motions, and
so I let her Gust travel through me, and I push it back,
and as if you were a trained ballet dancer, you see this wind move through you and then back out the other way in this absorption of force and sending it out even stronger than it was in the first place. Coco, you're grabbing onto Jules' hand, and you also have Harrison's hand in yours, and you feel your teammates coming together. The water isn't cold or scary anymore. You can beat it. But what are you going to do?
All right. I have two options here. There are two things that I'm thinking about doing. So one of them is if I can take the hands that I have and help pull them in even closer so we all kind of encircle up together, then I want to do Thunder Wave to add to the burst of energy going out from us.
Okay, a couple of things. First, I'm going to have you make a strength check to see if you can withstand all of these things that are happening.
Can
Here we
I assist in the strength check since she's holding on to me and I'm kind of standing my ground?
So as you go to pull them forward, Harrison kind of feels what you're trying to do and moves of his own volition and adds his muscle to it. So I'm allowing you to roll with advantage.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
Oh!
These were not oh, goodnesses.
Oh!
So the best of the rolls was a 6.
Great.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you're sitting there and you're trying your hardest to wrap everybody together. Harrison is adding his strength, but physical strength just isn't your thing.
It's not Coco's thing.
It's not your thing. But you feel this sort of connection, and you feel like what you were about to do will work, and you release this thunder wave. And the electricity travels through your partners. It doesn't hurt them. It goes out Cherry's wing and out Daphne's hand, the other side. And this final element sort of swirls around, and all of you are protected by each other. Daphne eventually looks over in this swirling vortex of elements, and she lets loose her book box, and the cards go flying into this cyclone, and they disappear. She looks at all of you, and she says, "I'm so glad that you've passed." And she transforms into this beautiful tabaxi woman. She's
Like
this
he
cat.
freaking knew it.
And this gown sort of appears out of nowhere. It's dark blue with shimmering stars all over it. And as she does, she waves her hand, and the elements sort of calm down. It's strange to see somebody else controlling your magic, but in all of this, it sort of condenses. And you can see her muttering under her breath. And she goes, "Oh yes, abjuration. And we've got divination, a little bit of evocation." And she's weaving all of this together. And it seems to form into this shell. This shell of swirling, multicolored, sort of pearlescent patterns. And she, as everything calms down, you're in this bare clearing. There's this weird glow that's coming out from all of you. You seem to be radiating a blue-white energy. And if you look up, you see this dark purple and blue sky dotted with millions of stars that seem to be sparkling. It's calm. It's cool. She walks over with this shell and places it at your feet, the four of you standing, still holding hands. She turns to each of you, looks you in the eye sincerely, and says, "Thank you. Thank you for your concern. Thank you for saving me. And thank you for believing in magic, because I do love it. Professor Arista, at your service." As she bows, the illusion breaks, and you're back into this courtyard of the town. Professor Arista is still bowing in front of you.
I take a knee.
You take a knee, Harrison.
Yes.
This shell is placed in front of you. Coco, what would you like to do?
It's in front of who?
It's in front of all four of you. Harrison has taken a bow, or taken a knee.
I'm taking a knee and looking down.
Would you like to do anything, Coco? You're back into the town. You see Professor Baldwin in the distance. He coming up.
I think for the first time in my life, I'm speechless.
We look over to Jules. Jules, you're holding somebody's hand. The professors are kind of looking at you. Do you let go, or you keep holding on?
Whose hand am I holding?
You're, I forget. You're holding Cherry's hand and Coco's
Cherry.
hand.
Coco.
Yes.
I have it aside with Cherry. Cherry. I mean, magic is pretty cool, though, right? Like, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, I feel like maybe there is a lot I'd be able to learn here and with people, you know? You're right. It'd be pretty sick to do magic and dancing.
Professor Arista walks over to you, Cherry, and she gently sort of caresses you in a friendly way, and then holds out her hand. Could I have this dance?
A professor?
It's a lesson, and she takes it. And so Professor Baldwin walks up and says, "I'm just so unbelievably proud of all of you. Look what you've done. You've managed to create a flail snail shell without endangering a creature. That is an essence of magic. You all have passed." And you see, as you look around, the other professors, the raptor with the green robes, the servant, the deer with the long flowing hair, they're sort of collecting their students. They all seem to be in some form of statue, either if they were taken out or they look like they almost were a statue. They look pretty roughed up. But it doesn't look like the other two teams did very well.
What happened to
okay.
them?
Yeah.
It seems like if the team has failed, they didn't get acceptance into the academy.
Ooh.
Well, does that mean we're the only 4 students in this class at Aruba?
Professor Arista turns around and looks at you and says, "It would seem so. It's going to be an interesting semester."
Wow, class of 2024. I feel confident that I'm going to kiss all of you.
Uh-oh.
Your father would be proud.
May I ask who gets to keep the show after everything's done?
Oh, well, I believe you may decide amongst yourselves, she says.
Go.
And Professor Baldwin comes up and he says, "Actually, this is a very valuable piece. We will dedicate this to the school. Thank you."
It is true. It is very valuable.
Yes, and so all of you can now look forward to the fall where you can join in for the Ancient Royal Oak Magical Academy.
Wow.
Congratulations to each of you. Well done.
Wow, Jules is ready to slut it up. She's on her show.
She's discovered a
Waiting for
sense of
Jules to
touch.
Just call dibs on Harrison.
Thank you
Harrison
all
is
so
still
much.
like on his knee, just like.
Is
Right.
Harrison
Just
spoken
happening,
for?
okay.
Is Harrison asexual? We need to know.
I think we'll find
Nah,
that
he is
out in
not
the
asexual.
future. Yeah. There's lots to explore here.
You know,
Oh
he's
my God.
now realizing that it's like he thought he was dead set on one thing, and then he
Right.
learned that there's room for other things, and so who knows what that's going to open up.
Everyone learned a lesson.
Thank you so much, Xander.
Yeah.
Xander, you fucking killed it, dude.
Aw,
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks so much
Definitely
for...
want to play with you as DM more.
Okay.
God, that was so
Twist
much
my
fun.
arm.
And
Thank
everybody
you.
else, you were all your characters are so like, like I loved them so much by the end. And this is such a great team.
It is
I
a good
wanna,
team.
Like we should definitely take this show on the road, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and thank
fun.
you so much to Deck of Many for sending us these amazing cards. Because, like, even though we can't be at a table together, something about sharing the magic of these is really special and convenient. Because it's got all this spell stuff on the back. Or
Yeah, that stuff is rad. Look at that.
the
I
teammates.
am
Who knows?
such a big fan of lenticulars in general, and I want to see and know how they made this. I hope they have like a behind the scenes because
Yeah,
it
well,
is really cool.
as we're filming now, there's a Kickstarter going on, and they're working towards their second deck of cards. Right now, they've got the Cantrips Volume 1. They're working on releasing Cantrips Volume 2, plus some tarot cards, animated tarot cards, which look amazing. And yeah, the Humblewood animated cards, so exciting. So thank you so much to the Deck of Many. Thank you to the players for joining me on my little Humblewood adventure.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yay!